Okay, so the dust is settled, and we've judged the first one of these. So I just got some quick questions, right? So coming in here as judges, did you see the caliber of work and see what you had hoped to see?
Go ahead, Nigel.
Almost. We were close, and they were running up to the line almost. It was good work. Some of it was good work at the top end for sure. We were still looking for that. For the one, but we didn't quite get it. But this is the whole purpose of these trials. We're edging out. It's a lengthy trial period. We've got another weekend to go, and then obviously the convention. So people are warming into it. So they're going to build on it, and I'm sure the next set of judges could well see the standards go up again. But they did well. First time it's been put on like this, so they're warming into it. But they're in a good place.
Now you know all these guys. Where are you at in that?
Yeah, I think that they did better than. I think that the low end was better than expected. I think that, like Nigel says, this is the first one. Mm-hmm. This is the first one of these, so I think people will warm into it. I think that next time it'll be a lot better. I think that like I said, the low end of it was quite a bit better than I thought it would be. I thought that there'd be some people not get done, maybe a little rougher work than we saw. I think that the high end, those guys will tweak their systems and tweak their process of shoeing, and it'll be better definitely next time.
You think that 55-minute time? Like that's a short time.
Yeah.
And do you think that played into?
I honestly think it's good. I think people embraced it and got done good. And I think that what's cool about short time limits is it brings out people's true colors. You can't really fix or hide your everyday habits as well. You kind of have to come off of. You got to come off the anvil with what you got and what you make and your daily habits, and it's got to be put out there pretty much. Same with trimming. You don't have enough time to have somebody look over your trim really and tell you, oh, you messed this up or you messed this up. It's pretty much you got to trim it right the first time, and if you don't, it shows. Don't you think?
I think shorter time limits teaches you new systems of being efficiency of your system. So you tweak, you reduce times, they'll get it done, and they'll practice to get it done. Mm-hmm. Calgary's taught us that. Fast time, hard. We found world champions because of it.
Yeah.
We all dig deep, and it gives you the experience to dig deep.
Fair enough. I'm gonna have you guys move in closer just so we can overpower Dusty. So when I gotta edit him out, just to make the shotgun mic a little more effective, because I keep hearing Dusty. If I can hear him, anybody can hear him. So now just overall, the high points. What did you see that you really liked out there of all the? So you break it down, judge different elements. Okay, give me the high point on kind of what each of the key elements.
Well, the high points of the contest.
Yeah.
There was, there were some high points in the foot dressing, for sure. There was some in the fit, some in the nailing, not so many. There wasn't a huge amount of high points.
But what did you see done well? Did you see any
Yeah,
job
nail
that
and
really
finish.
stood out on you?
Yeah, nail and finish. We saw a few of them, didn't we?
Yeah, there was a few good nail and finishes. There was a few good flat feet.
Yeah.
I thought. I think that the shoe quality was probably the lowest of anything. I think people work on that too. I think as they get a better system now for these tight time limits, I think the shoe quality will come up a little bit. But I thought the shoe quality was probably the lowest scores that I noticed.
Yeah.
Kind of rough shoes on the feet. There are some good ones that fit, but very few really nice forward shoes.
We had some beautiful feet here.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now, how'd the scoring work between so you got the specimen, and then you got the foot? How does that all work on the aggregate to create the final score working together? Is it weighted somewhere, or how's that work?
No, you just judge what you see, and you run your 4 scores for the feet. Just a collective collective deal.
40 points for the foot, 10 points for the specimen. That's how it
There you
works. Makes 50 points total for each judge.
Mm-hmm.
So they the specimen is worth 1/5 of the score. Shoeing's 4/5 of it.
That seems reasonable.
Yeah, it's like, I think it's good to where the foot takes the brunt is the most important part of the job, but yeah, you can't just tank your specimen and still do good. 20% of the score is enough to weight it to where you still have to make a pretty good specimen to hang in there.
So what do you think of this format for team selection, like this multiple kind of contest format?
What do you think?
I think it's superb. I think we've gone from one competition to, just doing it at the convention, which convention's a fantastic contest. And they're only going to shoe 1 foot. So it's all done primarily off shoemaking. Not anybody, but people can practice just for that. But with this, you've got 8 rounds before you get to the convention, and you're really going to find the strength of a team through horseshoeing, shoemaking, and then the icing on the cake's the convention. And those guys that have led up to that have then got to bring it to the convention, and everything becomes before that. Those guys that have done that, they've practiced for these 2 weekends over the summer. It's going to prepare them well for the convention. It's just going to keep rolling on.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
How's the convention play? And I will get to that. Go ahead.
I think I'll be interested to see see how these guys do at convention, because I think they'll do a lot better than if this hadn't happened. I think that everybody who competed here will kind of be in that mode of fast classes. Convention is always pretty fast classes, and I think they'll be in that mode, and I think I'm kind of curious to see how they do compared to people who haven't been here. 'Cause I
Is
think they'll get
convention
better.
still a leg of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, convention is the 3rd and final contest, and I don't know the exact scoring, but they've worked it out somehow to where the scoring is all pretty even through the 3 contests. So the attainable amount of points is pretty even through the 3 contests.
Okay, fair enough. So, like, one of the things that comes up a lot when you see, like, people talking about, like when you're judging, and everybody judges a little different, so, like, understanding judging is hard until you become a competitor, right? And so, on the outside looking in, are you look like kind of weighed out cosmetics and function, because there's obviously a cosmetic element, right? But then how do you separate cosmetics and function, or do you?
Strength of your basics. I mean, your core basics of forging and footwork, it's got to be in there. Cosmetics, there's very little of it. The cosmetics is the clinical detail, and it's the detail as judges. We're fundamentally looking at the basics, but it's the gleam on the top of the detail in the foot dress, preparation, showing your work off. There's no real difference between homework that you do at home, shoeing, contest. The sanding systems and finishing your shoes, making them like glass. That's clinical and that's detailed, but it all has to stem off your foundations and your basics. If you haven't got that, it's no good coming into getting clinical, because that has to be covered. And judges see it all the way through as competitors. We see that. We know the fundamental basics. You can't polish something that hasn't got the base. Doesn't make any difference. The whole thing is a package. And as judges, as competitors, we've been there, we've seen that, and we know what the fundamental basics are, what the cream on the top is, and all the detail.
Fair enough. I'm going to go fix this one door before we do this last question, because I think this last question is really cool. Hey, let me squeeze in here.
I'm not taking any drinks of beer while I'm waiting.
Yeah, have a beer. The hardest part's figuring out where the sound's going to be decent and try to do this, right? Because I've tried it 3 or 4 times and it never works out quite the way I want it to. But so I saw earlier when you were judging earlier, right, Nigel? We got a clip of you putting a nail in and then laying it up against the hoof wall, comparing the pitch, right? And so, like, how is the pitch relative to fit and nailing up? Like, what were
It's
you
something
looking
that
at
you
there?
can take for granted and almost look over. Farriers know they need pitch to nail on to the correct angle to the back of the wall. what we saw today was for some relatively good shoes, but they weren't really drilling in the pitch relative to the wall. So especially with any shoe, but particularly with plain stamp, it doesn't let you hide. So they give you a shoe, you mark the shoe. Sometimes you're not always looking at the pitch until you get to the foot. For me, the pitch is part of the fit. I might just mark the shoe, but when I get to the fit, I'll put it on, and if the nail holes don't correspond to the back of the wall and the angle of the foot, then it affects their fit score. You're making a shoe, the outline, and you judge the fit. Part of the fit process to me is the way the nail holes reflect and are facing the journey of the hoof, the crust. And that's a big deal. So that's why when I throw the nail, I can see it's not there, or it is. I throw the nail in, hug it up to the wall, and see it, and it just shows you that they haven't got it in the right place. You're putting the wall under strain, and you need to nail in the back of the wall. Those guys didn't give enough pitch, they're nailing in the middle of the wall, and you're going to bust feet. And that's not good horseshoeing. So it comes down to detail as judges to see we're servicing the feet and fundamental basics.
Yeah, I think Nigel's pretty much got it there. I think that it's just one more thing that you got to look for, and one more thing that you got to be aware of what goes into making a good horseshoeing job. Like, there's a lot of stuff that happens, and I think that pitch is really important. I think that it's important as everything else. Important as nail placement, important as fit. Pitch, you got to be careful of.
One of the things we noticed radiographically about pitch when I was kind of involved in a stem cell study is if the pitch isn't in the shoe, that nail can bow in all kinds of weird ways when you set the head.
Yeah.
And it can tension out, it can tension in.
Yeah, it doesn't set flush good. Or it buckles when it sets flush.
Right, buckles as soon as you knock it in, you know. And that was one of the kind of the hard things about trying to build a keg shoe is figuring out how to put that in a way that facilitates from that. All right, well, thanks, guys. I appreciate your time.
Yeah, you bet.